Welcome to the second part of our press conference. You are now joined by Philippines head coach Tim Cone and Carl Tamayo. First, Coach Tim, your thoughts about the game.
Well, we didn't play a real great first half. It was a struggle for us in the first half, and they were getting open threes and shooting them, and that's a concern we have, obviously, over this window because we've given up a lot of three-point shots. And we did that in the first half against New Zealand as well, so that's a concern for us. But second half, I felt we came out and we got to the shooters a little better. We scrambled a little bit more. You know, we should get out there because we've got protection behind us in Junmar and Kai. So really no excuse. So it's a little bit bothersome that we're allowing that many three-point shots. But I thought also offensively we moved the ball a lot better in the second half. I think we had only 9 assists in the first half, and we had 15 in the second. So we moved the ball a lot better, and you know that when the ball moves, I think everybody feels like they're involved, and it carries over to the defensive side as well. And we started defending better. So we're really dependent on our ball movement.
Thanks, Coach Carl. Your thoughts about the game?
Yun nga sabi ni Coach Tim, dapat laro namin yung gusto namin laro. Dapat hindi kami bumaba sa level kung sino man kalaban namin. Dapat mag-stick kami sa anong goal namin, which is medyo struggle kami ng first half, but no second half nag-pick up naman kami. And nagtulungan kami. Nag-execute kami ng second half. So, yun.
Loosely translating for our English-speaking audience, Carl said that they are supposed to play the way they're supposed to play, not to go to the level of their opponents, and that they made their changes in the second half. Any questions from the members of the media?
You don't have to.
Coach Tim, how would you assess the performance of the young guys, Carl, Kevin, and even Mason?
Well, I think the one sitting next to me, Carl, I told him, remember I told you coming out in the first half, you know, he got out, he hit a three-point shot, he went to the basket, he had a post up, he had an offensive rebound, that all scores, and that's what, you know, we're looking for our young guys. We want to use their total game. And that's the case with him. That's the case with KQ, and even Mason. You know, Mason is a specialist in terms of taking three-point shots, but we're trying to get him to expand his game as well. And I won't stop saying this. They are, you know, the superstars of this team. You know, down the road, and they're still, you know, learning and feeling their way. I get on Carl hard, as he knows. And trying to, you know, we all come into the team with different habits, and so it's really trying to get us all on the same page and creating the same habits so we can all play together and read each other together. And so, you know, this is not as we always keep saying, this is not an all-star team. You know, we're not out there to showcase our individual skills. And you know, we got to come together as a team, and sometimes it takes some hard coaching, and that's what I love about this team. They really accept that idea, and it makes it so much easier from a coaching standpoint to handle this team. And I love this team.
More questions from the media?
Good evening, Coach Tim. Congratulations on the win. In the previous win, your big guys showed out, and now, obviously, it's the wings, the young wings. Can you say that the team is steadily already getting used to your system, and what's your optimism on that? Especially, you will have 2 away games in February.
Yeah, the 2 away games we're going to have in February is going to be the toughest part of this window. 2 toughest teams, and both on the road. It's going to be a tough load for us, and we're already looking forward to that challenge. You know, with the short preparation time and the big gaps between the windows, it's hard to keep everybody updated on the system and how we do things. I was telling the guys that on the first practice that we had coming back, I kind of assumed that they would know everything because we just came from the OQT a few months ago. But, they go back and they start playing a different system and they completely forgot. And I was like, oh man, I couldn't believe our first practice. But by our second practice, the memory chips were starting to work a little bit. And by the third and fourth, we were coming together. So we have to really go back to basics and get back to our base first before we can build. And so it's always like back to zero whenever we come together and try to build. But I felt this time by the third or fourth day, we were already starting to elevate our game and getting it at previous high. So the whole point of these windows is to get better, use the experience that we had playing in this window and add that to the experience we had in the OQT, and hopefully that elevates our game going into the next window where now we're going on the road. And that's going to be important for us to learn because we're going to have to learn how to play on the road and win on the road. It's always great to have our fans at full houses here. It's awesome. But when we get on the road, we have to be able to play at the same level. And because all of our tournaments that we play are going to be on the road. We had that one opportunity in the World Cup in 2023 to play at home, but now all of them are going to be on the road. So we got to learn how to play well on the road.
Hi, Coach Tim. Juno from News 5 Digital. The crowd was cheering "We Want Dwight" earlier. Can we get an update on him?
Well, he was injured. Now, I remember there was a fan in the front row along the basket, and I told him he was injured. I can't play him, and he still kept saying, "We want Dwight. We want Dwight." Yeah, I mean, I love Dwight. I mean, I'm like all the girls, I love Dwight. I just love him for different reasons, right? I mean, I love him for his basketball mind and his talent. He's got an incredible basketball mind. The girls like him for his looks. I can't like him for his looks, but I like him. I mean, I love him for his brain and basketball brain, and so I more than anybody want to put him on the floor. I guarantee you that. I wasn't holding him out for any other reason from the fact that he had pulled his calf muscle in the late stages of the New Zealand game. He practiced yesterday, tried to practice yesterday. He tried to do our shoot around today. We weren't sure until he came to the game. We said he's going to try to warm up and see how it was, but he was still feeling pain. And, obviously, to be honest, I would have pushed him harder to play if we were playing New Zealand, but we felt that we could, rest him and be careful with him in this game. I thought, and that's best for him because he's got to go back and play in Japan and keep his career going. We didn't want to blow that cap out. On the other hand, we got to start thinking about maybe we're doing something wrong because we're having a lot of calf injuries. Calvin got a calf injury as well, and we weren't sure he was even going to play against New Zealand. So we've been careful with his minutes as well. So they were calling them the calf brothers. The players they were calling them the calf brothers, Calvin and Dwight, and even Justin had a calf problem during the finals and talking text that we had a hard time managing. So we got to maybe look at what we're doing and maybe figure out that we are not stretching those calves out as much as we should. But that was the reason. I mean, I would have loved to have played him, but I was under orders from the training staff that he should not play. So I got to do what's best for him. Even though I know the crowd would have loved to Al Francis Chua suggested, why don't we just put him in for 30 seconds and he can just stand in the corner of the court. And I go, I don't know if that'll work. So I didn't do that.
Coach Denison.
Yep.
Coach, talk about the, value of not playing without let-up against Hong Kong, especially after you've crushed them by 30 in the past window.
Hey, Denison. Well, the thing is that we didn't crush them. We were hoping to do that in the first half. We kept them in the game, and we were talking at halftime. They make a couple of three-point shots. Maybe, we fumble the ball, and they're right back in the game, and you just don't know. So you got to really step on the pedal and really go after them. And ironically, it was our youth that went out there and got the separation, which was just what the doctor ordered for us. We needed to get that separation, and we did. They're a very, very, very good shooting team. That first half, when they were hitting their threes, some of them were deep, some of them were challenged, but they were making threes. They kind of dried up a little bit on the second half, but I think that was also a function of us getting out and going. But I think what you're trying to say is we want to continue our habits. You know, we have such a short window to be together that we have to use every moment we have to get better, because we don't have a month or two, or a continuity over time to get better. So the moments that we do have, and that's what I like about this team, they understand that, and they're trying to get better all the time in each game, in each practice. They take everything serious.
Thank you, Coach.
Carl, question for you. 16 points in just 17 minutes. You top scored for Gilas in this game. It's your high watermark in terms of points since you joined the Gilas. Can you just talk about your performance tonight? You and of course KQ and Mason.
I think our veterans always talk to us to be confident every time we step on the floor, and we had a chance to play, but we tried to put our talent in the system of Coach Tim, which we're trying, and I think I just took some shots that I made. I'm just very happy for it, and yeah, that's it.
Coach Tim, always Gilas is a New Zealand win away from securing a FIBA Asia Cup berth. So in the next window, can we see more additions to the pool, or will we see continuity with the core 15-man pool that you currently have as of the moment?
That's something that's going to be assessed. This whole year, as we said earlier before this window started, is a trial year in terms of how are we going to do this. We came up with an idea and a plan, and then I'm just playing off the coattails of Chuck Reyes and Coach Tab Baldwin in terms of they are the ones that got all the players. They're the ones that set this whole thing up, and I've just been able to play off of what they originally got everything together. And I've been fortunate to have the support of all the stakeholders, and that wasn't always the case. So that's been real big for me from a coaching standpoint, and I've been fortunate and really blessed to have all this support that we've been getting. But I kind of lost my track here. What did you ask
The
me?
pool, Coach, the pool.
The pool. That's right. Get back to that old question about the pool. Everybody's, that's something that we're going to assess. I am less likely to want to increase the pool. I think the more you increase the pool, the more teaching you have to do, and you have to keep if you can keep a core going all the time and really focus on that core, keep it a tight group, then that core is going to get better. If you start expanding the pool, you have to go back to zero and start teaching all over again everything that you've taught. So the pattern of the short windows prevents you from having those 4 to 6 week preparation times. Now it's 5 days, 4 days. So if you bring 20 guys in, you have to teach 20 guys how to do things in 4 or 5 days, and it gets really hard. So it's better if we can tighten up. But again, that's something we're going to assess. Everything's going to be assessed. The coaching staff's going to be assessed. The players are going to be assessed. Everything's going to be assessed by year end. And but hopefully, everybody's, all the higher ups are pleased with what's been going on, and they're going to want to keep a continuous program going. But that doesn't mean we don't make a tweak here or there, personnel-wise, system-wise, whatever. We could very easily make a tweak here and there, anything that can make us better moving forward.
Coach, in relation to that, in all likelihood, you'll be clinching a ticket to the FIBA Asia Cup
We're in
tomorrow.
already. We're in already. We just haven't fixed our seating yet.
Yeah,
but we clinched a spot already.
Yeah, but coach, will at least be the preparations for the FIBA Asia Cup begin at least behind the scenes, or are you still focused on the qualifiers? Try to sweep it, win as many games as possible.
Well, it's all about logistics, I think, in terms of can we get the players together to practice. And we got guys in Japan, we got guys, all over in Korea. It's very difficult to get the guys together. So, and then the ongoing leagues that are going on, the PBA, the B League, the Korean League. And so the only time we really get chances to play is when everything shuts down, and that's for the FIBA windows. So we're using the FIBA windows as our preparation to continually move forward for the FIBA Asia. So I'm not sure of the PBA and the Japan League schedule for the FIBA Asia in August next year. Whether we can have 5 days, 7 days, maybe 10 days, but I would think 10 days would be the absolute max that we would get to prepare for that FIBA Asia. In the meantime, we just talked about it, that we're not going to see each other till February. So it'll probably be 5 or 7 days before we have to go to Taiwan. So this is the process that we have, and we got to make the best of it. Again, it's just not a different style than what we were used to years ago, when we'd have one long tournament and we'd be able to, prepare for a month or 6 weeks or 8 weeks. Just can't do that anymore. So we have to do it in the small windows. New Zealand, before they played us, had 2 days of practice as a full team, because they had their league going on also, and they couldn't get guys to all show up. So, because they were playing in Australia, they were playing in different parts of the world. So to bring them all together, they wanted to do it 5 days, I think, and they only end up getting 2 days. So with a new coach, so it was really difficult for them.
One last question available before we let our interviews go.
Hi, Coach.
Yeah.
Can you just talk about, prior to this window, officially, Mr. Alfrancis Chua became part of the team. What's your, of course, reaction to that? And how will he be, his importance to the school?
Well, I was very vocal about the fact, and I've been vocal ever since. In fact, when I first took the job back in January, I think it was, when I finally agreed to do the Gilas. I don't want to say full time, because I'm doing full time also in Nebra. But I originally told the SPP that I wouldn't do it unless Al Chua would come along with me, and so we tried to do that, but as it turned out, we couldn't, because Al was too busy doing all the things he does for San Miguel, and there was kind of okay, I'm not going to do it anymore, because Al couldn't do it. But then Al really encouraged me to do it. And so I went ahead and did it without him originally. But I had always been asking for him. And he's been there behind the scenes. He's always been there to talk to. I've always called him. He's come into some of our meetings at SPP in the past, just doing it on his own time. But finally, I think there was a lot of pressure put on San Miguel to let him to come in and help us. And so he's there now, and he makes the world of difference. You can even ask Carl. Sorry. Are you Carl? Carl, okay. I'll ask Carl about it too. I mean, you'll see that the players react so positively to Alfrancis Chua. I mean, he's a player's guy, and he's so relational, and they know they can go to him, and he's just great, because he makes my job so much easier, that I can really lock in to just coaching, and he can take care of all the other stuff. And it's a nice partnership that we've been able to have with Ginebra as well, and it's spilling over to Gilas. So it's a special relationship that I have with him, but it's also a special relationship he has with the players that drives this team.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you, Carl. Congratulations once again. That'll be the end of this post-game press conference. We'll see you again this February for the third window.